Okay, hello, welcome back to another segment of Classroom Management by Design for the Primary Teacher. I am Lauren Zwigan. I'm the founder of LessonPlanToolbox.com, where we help primary teachers master classroom management day in and day out. All the things, all the systems, all the routines, all the resources your little heart can desire inside our membership. Plenty of free stuff too for those of you who aren't ready to jump right in with us. But thank you again so much for being here. I am loving this segment that we are working on right now. My energy is here. I'm recording these at night right now because I've got the energy. And if you do know anything about human design, I am a manifester. And when you are in the energy, you go for it. So here we are doing this. And I always think it's so funny that in the summertime, it could be 90 degrees outside, but we're still wearing sweaters and all of our heavy gear because of air conditioning. And you know what? That's a-okay. We're going to be grateful that we're here, that we're doing it. So thank you for being here. I know you are probably right now getting ready to head into 4th of July. And I'm not going to say it because I never enjoy saying to teachers, oh, okay, summer's over. That was my least favorite thing to hear. Least favorite thing. So let's jump in to this week's segment. Okay, I just want to welcome you again to a gentle summer edition of our Little Classroom Management YouTube channel. I am so glad you are here. Hopefully it's warm where you are. And if you're a K-3 teacher on summer break right now, this episode is for you. Today, we are going to explore a question so many of us have. What can I do this summer that will actually help my students next year? But before we get into that, I want you to promise me you're going to do this. Take a deep breath. Know you made it through the school year. This is your time to reset and recharge. In fact, focusing on your own well-being over break is not only a luxury, it's essential. You give so much during the year, and summer is your chance to refill your cup. So as we talk about a few low-lift, high-impact prep ideas, I want you to remember it's completely okay to do nothing at all. You've earned that iced coffee on the porch and lazy mornings to sleep in. Balance is key. Know that. A little reflection and planning here, a lot of relaxation there. So if you are like me, after a bit of downtime, you might start feeling that tiny itch to get slightly organized for next year. Not in a hustle hard way, but in just that one step at a time way. So let's talk about just a few summer projects that can make a world of difference in your classroom come the fall. Again, they're low effort, high impact tasks, things that you can do bit by bit, perhaps with a cool drink in hand, that your future self and your students will thank you for. Okay? So first up, we're going to talk about prepping a calm down corner. One lovely minimal effort project is planning or prepping a calm down corner. This is just that little cozy space where students can go to take a breath, regulate their feelings, and regroup emotions, especially when they're running high. Think of it as like a mini sanctuary in the midst of the classroom bustle. And you're probably thinking, why bother with a calm down corner? Because it truly helps kids help themselves. When used positively, calming corners let students practice managing their emotions in a healthy way. Essentially, you're giving them a safe spot to develop those all-important regulation skills, which is huge in K-3. Research even shows that when students can effectively manage their feelings, they're better able to focus on learning and less likely to become disruptive in class. So in other words, a calm down corner not only comforts an upset child, it ultimately benefits the whole class climate. Some low-lift summer steps. You don't need to be in full classroom setup mode to start on this. Maybe spend a lazy afternoon brainstorming what your corner might include. Go on Pinterest. Jot down a few items you could gather. Maybe a soft pillow or a beanbag or a stuffed animal or some fidget toys or stress balls. Or, maybe some crayons and coloring pages. Maybe a feelings chart. Many of these you might already have or you can get super cheap. Over summer, you could pick up 1 or 2 fun items when you happen to be at a dollar store or browsing online. You need to remember that there is no rush, no huge expense involved, just little things to make the space inviting. Perhaps you also create a simple calming toolbox. It's a little box or basket if you've never seen it, and it might have the glitter jars or a pinwheel. Those are great for the deep breathing exercises, or even a mini sand timer. And then each tool can teach your students a coping strategy, using that pinwheel to practice the slow breathing. If you're feeling creative, you might even craft a cute little sign that says Calm Corner, or print like some kid-friendly mindfulness prompts. But remember to start small. You can always add more later. The goal is just to have a basic corner ready to go on day 1. Even imagining this cozy nook can be calming. It can be an enjoyable activity for you to do over summer. And hey, as you plan it out, give yourself permission to use the tool too. A calm down corner is for everyone. Even teachers need a moment of peace now and then. Use it. Show your students you're using it. So now let's talk about routines. One magical thing about teaching is that every year is a fresh start. I like to say every day is a fresh start, okay? Summer is the perfect time to reflect on your last year's routines and procedures and think about any tiny tweaks for next year. Notice I said tiny. We're not overhauling everything. We're just fine-tuning those daily flow tasks to make life easier for you. So you want to reflect first. What routines went really well and for you and for your students? Maybe your morning routine was smooth like butter, or packing up at the end of the day was a completely disaster process, right? Or maybe it was the opposite. Maybe you have the perfect process in place for packing up at the end of the day. So those are wins that you want to celebrate and repeat. Now, what routines were a bit rocky? Perhaps transitioning from centers to whole group. Maybe that was a bit chaotic, or getting everyone's attention. Maybe that felt like herding cats. So you want to jot a quick list. One side of your paper, this worked great. Other side of your paper, this needs work. This little reflection, you could do this by the pool, in a park, on a bench, but it can guide you to where a small change might help most in your teaching. And believe it or not, it is those small changes that can have a big impact. So you want to plan one improvement at a time. Pick that one routine that you'd love to improve. Let's say transitions were tricky. You might decide to introduce a simple movement break or movement routine to grab your kids' attention and reset them. If you've been following me, you know I love using quick freeze and stretch breaks or silly dance cues as we transition from activities. If you haven't tried it, try calling out freeze, then leading a 30-second stretch or shakeout as it's going to be a game changer for refocusing everybody in your classroom. This idea connects to something called the Movement to Mastery framework, which, if you've been following us, it encourages using strategic movement throughout the day to boost your classroom management. Even just a 1 to 2 minute movement break can help your students release the wiggles and refocus. So over the summer, you could brainstorm a few movement cues if you're not in our membership, or use some songs to incorporate. It's low effort now, but come fall, you'll have new smooth transitions ready to go. Maybe the routine is to improve your morning circle time or how you handle lining up. Whatever it is, you want to spend a little time imagining how you want it to look and feel. You can even scribble a rough routine script for yourself with some key phrases or steps that you want to practice with your students those first few weeks, right? So having the plan in mind is going to give you the confidence when you greet that new class. And then one more tip you want to consider is consistency. If there's a procedure you wavered on, maybe like collecting homework one way or sharpening pencils, but decide on one clear method and then you want to stick to it. You can make that decision calmly in the summer. You might decide, okay, next year I'm going to have a special basket for homework collection by the door, and I'm going to train my students to drop it there each morning. Sounds simple, right? Those little changes are going to save a ton of confusion and reminders later. And you don't need to be perfect with every routine right now. Just picking one or two key routines to revamp is plenty. The rest are going to fall into place as you start to teach your new group. Remember, we want to think progress, not perfection. Okay? The next thing we want to do is talk about classroom behavior. It's on every teacher's mind, and summer can actually be a great time to set up one or two low-lift behavior supports so you feel more prepared. And I am not saying you can predict every behavior change or every behavior challenge. We wish we could, but we can't. Students will always surprise us. But a little planning now can give you big helpful tools in your back pocket for later. So get the calm corner, right? If you have prepped your calm down corner, just like we talked about before, you already added a proactive behavior support. It's there to help students manage their feelings before they escalate. Another idea is to prepare a simple behavior plan for yourself. So think of a scenario that was challenging last year. Maybe frequent blurting out or a student who had trouble with frustration. I experienced all of those, both of those. But then you want to outline a gentle response strategy. For example, for blurting out, you might plan to use a visual reminder like hand signals, right? Just raise your hand and then positively reinforce those who wait their turn, okay? For a frustrated student, you might plan to introduce a break card, which can be their signal where they can quietly signal that they need a break. Writing down a rough plan for one or two behaviors can clarify your approach. It's like writing a friendly cheat sheet for future when things get chaotic, okay? We also want to focus on interactive practice. This is where so many teachers skip this step. But one fun, low-effort tool that I adore are our student behavior scenario of the day cards if you're in our membership. These are quick daily prompts that pose a little scenario about behaviors or choices which you and your students can discuss for just a few minutes every single day of the school year. A card might be able to describe a hypothetical situation. Like imagine a classmate took your favorite pencil without asking. And then ask kids what the respectful choice would be or how to handle it. Discussing one scenario a day, we usually did it during morning meeting or after lunch, it will dramatically improve your students' understanding of expectations. It will help them do problem solving, and it only takes about 5 minutes a day. The teachers, myself included, who have used these scenario of the day cards have found that students love talking about behavior and figuring out the right thing to do. It was one of their favorite parts of the day. It turns like the abstract rules into real life practice. So if this sounds like a useful tool to you, you might want to spend some time this summer creating your own if you're not inside our membership. There are ready-made sets available if you search online. But it's a small summer project, again, that can lead to a big payoff in classroom harmony, okay? You might also put together a simple behavior toolkit. This might be, it might be digital, okay? Or a small folder. It could include a list of class rules or expectations that you plan to teach, a blank template for behavior charts or notes home, maybe some kind of coupons if you use a coupon system that you can pull out as needed, maybe even a cheat sheet of calming strategies to help your students remember, okay, here's my strategies, here's what I can do when I'm having these feelings. But having these basic items prepped means you won't be scrambling in the moment the behavior issue pops up, and that's super important. And here's a secret. Just knowing you have a plan and a few tools, it's going to make you feel calm and confident, and that vibe is going to transfer to your students. But most importantly, you need to remind yourself that you are the same caring teacher who got through last year's tough moments, and you'll do great again. These little tweaks that we're making are just there to assist you, not to make your work nonstop. Once you've prepped something like these scenario cards or a break time poster, you set it aside and go enjoy summer. You've done enough for today, okay? You don't have to do this all like every single day. Okay, so now let's kind of switch gears really quickly. The last thing I want to talk about is a teacher digital toolbox. What is this? It's a fancy name for something wonderfully simple. Organizing your favorite teaching resources in one easy to access spot. If you are not a member in our membership, you want to pay attention to this one. We have everything organized for you. We're doing a better job right now. We're getting ready to revamp our whole website to make this even smoother for you. But this is like the low-key summer task that you can do from a comfy chair with music playing in the background, okay? It hardly feels like work, but your future self will be so grateful. What's a digital toolbox? It's basically your collection of go-to resources and tools that you're going to use during the school year. They're stored digitally for your convenience so you can have them at the touch of a fingertip. So you might, for example, create a special folder on your computer or Google Drive, whatever, for next year. You can gather things like your class welcome letter, your syllabus, or if you have online curriculums, any lesson plan templates or graphic organizers you know that you'll use, any important documents. It could be your school's calendar or your procedural forms. But putting them all in one folder now, you won't waste time searching like your email or your drives looking for them later. You can also bookmark wonderful websites and apps so you have them ready to go. Okay, I'm sure you have favorite educational K-3 apps for activities. So save those links in bookmark folders labeled teaching, or use an app like Pinterest or Evernote to clip ideas. Then during the year when you need a quick activity or a reference, you can open your toolbox and voila, it's right there. This toolbox might also include login info for any tech tools you plan to use. So important. It's going to save you the headache of the whole what's my password during those busy weeks of the first beginning of the school year, okay? Keep it light, keep it enjoyable. One other thing you might do is you might schedule, this is something to consider so it is light, one morning out, go get coffee and just sift through your computer or browse some teacher blogs for 1 or 2 golden nuggets to save. It shouldn't feel like a marathon planning session. In fact, limit yourself to maybe 1 hour or 30 minutes of tinkering. Then reward yourself with a walk, a nap, or a nice little cup of joe. Okay, another plus to this whole toolbox though, if you add a few things now, you're set up for later. If you just set up the folder structure and put like new apps in, that's progress, okay? If you're like, Lauren, I want to do this. I want to be ready, but what do I even include? I'm so clueless here. I've never done this before. Maybe you're a first year teacher. Here's some things you can include. We have a free sample of the student behavior scenario of the day cards. You can go right on our Instagram and get it, or even just reply to this post, and I will be happy to get them to you. But you are welcome to the free sample if you're not in our membership. Have that saved as a PDF, ready to go. Movement break videos, okay? Again, if you're in our membership, we are completely revamping this to make this easy for you. But if not, bookmark some YouTube videos and find some YouTube shorts where it's classroom exercises and mindfulness breaks. So you have them ready to go, and it's different than the Go Noodle, right? I love when the teacher is up there leading because you're making that connection with your students. You also want to have any templates. This could be a parent communication log. It could be a sub-plan template. It could be a student reflection sheet. But having the templates on hand can be a lifesaver on a hectic day. Boom, it's right there. You also could do personal inspirations. This was my favorite, right? Have that folder of encouraging quotes or those funny memes that remind you why you love teaching. Not exactly for students, but for you on those tough days, and we all will have them. Okay, remember, the point of this toolbox is to make your life easier. So setting it up can actually be fun and empowering. It's like giving a small gift to your future self. Wrap up that short session feeling productive, then go enjoy the rest of your summer day. You are allowed to have fun. You are allowed to rest. So as we come to a close, let's just circle back to the big picture. It's summer, and the best thing you can do for your students next year is to take care of yourself. A well-rested, rejuvenated teacher is going to do amazing things. So if you only do 1 or 2 little prep tasks, or even none at all, that's okay. You are not behind or lazy for resting. You are investing in your own well-being, which directly benefits your students in the long run. The ideas we've chatted about today are just gentle options. Here's what we talked about. Setting up a calming corner to foster that peaceful, emotionally supportive classroom. Tweaking 1 or 2 routines to smooth out any bumps in the flow of your day. Maybe try adding some movement in there too. Then you want to equip yourself with simple behavior tools like the student behavior scenario cards or plan for common challenges. You want to organize a few digital resources so you feel on top of things, especially at the beginning of the school year. Each of these is low lift. You can do them a little at a time in a relaxed way, and each is going to have a high impact in that they can markedly improve your classroom environment and your peace of mind next year. Imagine yourself on the first day of school greeting your new little faces, and you've got a cozy calm down place ready to go if anyone needs a break. You feel clear on your routines because you gave them some thought over summer. You have a couple tricks up your sleeve for your behavior, and your essential files and your links, they're at your fingertips. It's going to feel really good, right? You'll be able to focus on building relationships with your students rather than scrambling on small stuff. A moment of affirmation for my fellow teachers. You are doing enough. You did enough last year. And you are enough just as you are. Next year's students are lucky to have you. Whether you spend today crafting a new routine or just watching the clouds go by, both are valid choices. As one wise educator put it, the way your classroom feels matters more than how much curriculum you finish. And the way you feel matters too. So give yourself permission to finish the summer strong and soft with plenty of rest and just a sprinkle of prep where it feels right. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you got some golden nuggets out of this. I hope you're feeling comforted and engaged and not overwhelmed with this whole process. If you enjoyed this, if it sparked a helpful idea, maybe, it reminded you to take it easy, that's great. Go enjoy the heck out of your summer break. And be on the lookout because we're getting ready to open the doors to our revamped website, and I'm so excited about it. You've got this. You were meant to teach. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Until then, teach, relax, repeat.